Want to introduce Dr. Kenneth Rogers, is going to welcome you this morning. He's the State Director of the South Carolina Department of Mental Health, and he took the helm of the department in April of 2020. He received his MD from the University of South Carolina School of Medicine and completed both his general psychiatry residency and a child psychiatry fellowship at the William S. Hall Psychiatric Institute at the University of South Carolina. He is board certified in both general psychiatry and child psychiatry, and he also completed a Master of Science in Public Health from UCLA and a Master of Medical Management from the University of Southern California. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Kenneth Rogers.
Good morning, everyone. All right, you guys are alive and out there. You know, I'm really grateful that you're here today. I'm excited about another day. You will not get music from me this morning, unfortunately. They did not tell me that I could provide music. I love to play the saxophone, and if I had it with me, I'd probably end up playing a little bit of Charlie Parker and Love Supreme, because I have truly enjoyed the conference and the love that you guys are giving while you're here. So I appreciate it. You know, yesterday was just one of those terrific, mind-boggling days where I really felt inspired by so much that occurred and so much that happened. And I'm just excited for day 2 and for what we're going to see and experience during the day. About 12 years ago, I developed the discipline of journaling. And I started journaling after my oldest sister passed away. My oldest sister was kind of my substitute mom. My parents died when I was in my early 20s, and so my sister kind of filled in that void. And as any of you who have like 20-something-year-old sons know, you are chronologically an adult, but you really aren't fully an adult yet. So she was the person I would call to ask really stupid questions like, what should I have for dinner today? And she would look at me and say, what's in your refrigerator? I would tell her, and she would say, that's what you should have for dinner. And we went through these things every single day. But also I asked her the big questions of life of, I met this beautiful woman. She seems to be really right for me. Should I get married? And of course, she went through her usual process. Do you love her? Yeah, I love her. Then can you see yourself like looking at her every day? Yeah, I could see that. Then you should marry her then. That was an easy one. So when my sister passed away and I couldn't quite make sense of life anymore, I found myself trying to figure out, how do I figure out things? And journaling became that thing. At first couple of years, I found journaling to be this diatribe every day of just the wrongs and the slights that happened that day and in life. And I look back on it now and I was like, was I like angry or frustrated? What was going on during this time period? The next time period was what I call the chronicling period, where every day I would just sit down and write everything that happened that day as if I were preparing my memoirs for the future. I'm a psychiatrist. I live a really boring life, so there probably will be no memoir forthcoming. But then I moved into my current phase about 5 years ago. And that's where my journaling became about, what am I grateful for today? So every night before I go to bed, I find 3 things. There's usually a lot more than 3. But I choose 3 things that I'm going to journal about that day and talk about why they're important. And that discipline has really helped me to focus on my mantra in life, which is living the dream. Because when I can focus on the good things and the things I'm grateful about, the other things become really minor in comparison. So what I thought I'd do is I would share my 3 things that I actually put in my journal last night that I am grateful for. The first one is I had a chance yesterday to see friends that I have not seen in a very long time, colleagues that I have not seen in years because of the pandemic. We're all stressed. We're all burnt out. There's been so much going on, and so the energy to be around others has just been remarkable. To see smiles, to see people just enjoying themselves, and to feel that energy has, for me, just been a real blessing. We're not on Zoom anymore, and so I don't have to worry about the Zoom thing. But I just want to say I appreciate the smiles, the handshakes, the fist bumps, the hugs, and those of you who kind of stop and you look and you're like, what do I do now? There's this confusion during COVID of what you do. So I am grateful that you're here. The second thing that I'm really grateful for is the whole idea of the cognitive reframing that happened for me yesterday. As I went through the lectures and presentations of the day, I realized how much I really needed what I heard to make me a better person. I think about the fact that some things just don't have to be explained. They just are. That's how I started my day. So I feel much freer not trying to explain everything now. But then the second one I found really fascinating was, as someone takes my money and takes the things that I really want in life, and all I have are these two little jackets, I can stand there and I can remember that sometimes we're just paying for the story. And how many of us are going to have a story to tell post-COVID because of all the things that we have been through? It's going to be fascinating. But perhaps my new term, and one that I'm going to incorporate into my life now, is this whole idea of prognostic pessimism. The fact that I am not determined by what's on paper, by what's in front of me, by what others have said, by the expectations of the world, but I can actually make some choices about how I live life and what I do with myself. I also learned that I could laugh while being depressed. That depression is not necessarily something we can't actually smile about, because even in our pain, there are things that we are grateful for, and there are things that impact our lives in ways that we would never imagine. But perhaps my favorite presentation of the day, and the one that really spoke to where I was our lunchtime presentation with Reverend Dr. Benton. That presentation really struck me, for those of you who were there, in some really deep ways. As one who's always been interested in the interface between spirituality and mental health, what I realized is that here's an opportunity to use biblical scripture, biblical characters, to really talk about the idea of trauma and healing. And so it became one additional way that I can really begin to share with the patients and the folks that I see, especially who come from a Christian background, an additional way of thinking about healing. So that's the second thing I'm grateful for. The third thing, and this is the last one I'll share because there are many, is the fact that I am the state director of the South Carolina Department of Mental Health. The State Department of Mental Health is a group of individuals spread across all 46 counties in South Carolina who wake up each morning with the idea that I am going to improve the lives, the health, and well-being of those that I come in contact with. The people that I work with inspire me. They inspire me to actually be better at what I do. They encourage me, they help me to really think about life in a different way. And so I want to thank all of you who work for DMH, whether you are in a school, whether you're in a community mental health center, whether you are in mobile crisis, whether you're doing ride-alongs with law enforcement, whether you work in an inpatient facility, whether you're in a residential setting, or whether you're in one of our nursing homes, or any of the other 1,000 points of contact that you can have with the department. I just want to say thank you. I also want to really do a shout out to Charleston Dorchester Mental Health Center and Mental Health Heroes for putting on a phenomenal conference. It's one of the few places that I've ever gone, because most conferences I go to, it's about how do I do my job better, how am I a better psychiatrist, how am I a better administrator, but it's one of the few places I've been where I've been able to hear from a comedian, a couple of psychologists, a philosopher, a theologian, all in the same day. I'm sitting there going, wow, this is like some really, really deep stuff. So again, I just want to say thank you. I want to say welcome to everyone. I look forward to seeing you around today. So I will look forward to either a handshake, a fist bump, or maybe we'll just look at each other real confused and just smile at each other. But welcome, and I hope you have a great day at the conference.